Super Bowl 51 is a big deal this week around here. Who better to turn to?
That boy Ward, a champ, baby.
Than Hines Ward, who played in 3 of them with the Steelers, won 2, and was MVP of Super Bowl 40 against Seattle. I can't believe that was 11 years ago, by the way.
Crazy. Long time.
I double-checked like 3 times today because that doesn't seem like 11 years ago.
No, it flies by. Trust me.
Good to have you with us.
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here, man. I grew up watching these guys from the black shoes, from the UNLV running Rebs here.
Wait a minute. Why you gotta say he grew up? Like,
I mean, it was during my time, so it's an honor to be up here with you.
Oh, it's great to have you with us.
Pleasure.
How's the inflation rate on the football, by the way?
You know what? A little deflated a little bit.
All right.
Tom in here.
Unfortunately, it's not official, and we're not subject to any kind of sanctions. One way or the other. You played in 3 of these things.
Yes.
There's so much hype. This is the most hyped sporting event in the history of the world.
Yes.
I mean, 2 weeks of it. How different is it for a player once you're on the field compared to the other games you play throughout the season and even other playoff games?
Well, the Super Bowl, I mean, that's what we, as a kid, that's what we dreamed about playing our whole life. And then just imagine the kickoff when you see all the flashes. Now, you know, your behind get a little tight when you see all the lights going off. It's a different game. You can't compare the Super Bowl to a playoff game or to a regular season. I mean, during pregame warm-ups, you see all the superstars. Come on, Hines, go out there. I'm getting my Odell Beckham on, trying to get tired. I'm tired before the game even starts. So, you know, it's about putting pressure. You got to let the game come to you just like any other game. I think when you play in the Super Bowl, when you try to force yourself on the game, you tend to make mistakes, and that's where you can go wrong.
Interesting matchup. You got tons of Falcons fans out here.
Oh, my goodness. That's why they booing you.
Highest scoring team in the league. Patriots gave up the fewest points this season in the NFL. In terms of styles and sort of franchise cultures, what NBA teams do they compare to?
You know what? I look at the Falcons. I mean, they remind you a lot of kind of the Golden State Warriors, kind of pick your poison with, you know, Julio Jones. You got Freeman in the backfield. You know, you got Coleman. So there's a lot of pieces that you have to try to attack. And at one point, one of those guys will get one-on-one. But then you look at, on the flip side, you look at kind of the Patriots. I mean, they've been there. So I look at kind of San Antonio. I mean, you know, the Coach Pop and Belichick are similar, you know. Men a few words. They really don't like the media. They don't really talk much. But then you still always have that one guy. And then Brady, I played against the Patriots for so many years. The guy's a beast. I've hated on him. I called him a cheater. Air or not, you know, he's still going to get the ball down the field. He's one of the greatest to ever play the game.
Popovich with that beard does feel like he's one step away from the cutoff sweatshirt, right?
He would wear that if he
may break that out.
And growing up, you know, we all are lucky to or blessed to be in this profession. And in football or basketball, I grew up watching Stockton, you know, Ernie Johnson, George Blaha, you know, Marv Albert, you know, Pat Summerall, you know, Madden, those guys. Did that have an influence on you wanting to get into this after the fact that you love football so much and you watched so much tape, you heard those guys, they were part of your culture?
No question about it, because I still wanted to be close to the game.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, now coming on the flip side and being part of the media allows me to do that, man. It's exciting to now give my insights on the game and see it from a different perspective and all the things and knowledge that I've learned over my years. Now it's great to just, you know, let everybody out there who's knowledgeable about football.
Maybe you should tell your boy about Facebook Live, but that's not. The Steelers fan right here. Okay, my bad.
You know what? Listen, we got a huge game coming up with the Super Bowl. It's hard to say who are the top players because the positions are different, and obviously you only play one side of the ball. But when you look at the league today, who do you consider the most valuable player? In
That's because we got
no,
an argument
and I'm not
before
talking
the
about.
game.
I'm not even talking about from this season, but
Okay.
just in general. Obviously, that quarterback position carries the most weight. But what guy do you look at when you look at the landscape of the league? Not so much based on this season, but it's been that most valuable commodity.
Outside of the quarterback, because the quarterback's the
Yes.
main position.
Yes.
If you don't have a quarterback, you can't win. I mean, you look at Tom Brady, you look at what Matt Ryan's done. I mean, the stats are comparable, but you can't win in this league without a quarterback. And Tom Brady, I'm going to go is the X factor because he has the experience. He's been there before, and he's on a man on a mission to try to win his 5th Super Bowl. And that's no quarterback has ever done that. So, you know, I think in that aspect, I would have to go with Tom Brady because without him, there is no Patriots. I mean, he is the single-hand one guy that's on the Patriots. You really don't know any other superstars. I mean, the guy wins all the time with less talent around him. Matt Ryan, if you put the talent that Matt Ryan has and you put him over there with the Patriots, I guarantee you Tom Brady wins 10 Super Bowls.
You know, it's a long-standing debate. You guys are always eyeing each other. How would you do in the other sport?
Yes.
Could I play basketball?
Yeah.
Could you guys play football? It always comes up. And Tom Brady was, in fact, asked this week about what NBA player could make it in the NFL.
LeBron, tight end. Split him out, just throw it up. He'd come down with a lot of them.
He's drooling right now. They love tight ends.
Illegal recruit.
Yeah, LeBron James. I mean, he's a guy who's Tony Gonzalez, Jimmy Graham,
Antonio Gates,
all wrapped in one. So being that, the guy's already played football before, so he has the ability. Could you imagine Tom Brady throwing to LeBron James at the tight end position? That would just be
nice.
Ugly right there.
Who else? Who else could make it?
Well, I'm going to go with the quarterback, of course. Quarterback position, Chris Paul. He's a guy who distributes the pass, distributes the ball out. He reminds me of a little Russell Wilson, being that, he can shake guys up, but then he has the brains of Tom Brady. So I think Chris Paul can play the quarterback position.
As competitive as anybody in the NBA, for sure.
Yes. And then Michael Westbrook, I'm going to football. Russell Westbrook, he's a guy I think can play wide receiver. He reminds me of Randy Moss and Odell Beckham Jr. combined in one. The guy is explosive. He can jump out the roof and everything. Line him up out there, man, it'd be a tough matchup for a lot of DBs.
I feel like you could put him in about 5 different spots on the field. Maybe as a safety, as a receiver, as a running back. Be kind of a tall running back, but a running back, I don't know.
Well, I don't know about the basketball guys want to take that pound in there. They're a little fragile there. But no, he's definitely a great athlete. And then I look for Draymond Green. He's a guy who plays linebacker, reminds me of Terrell Suggs, physical, a lot of trash talking. I can see him outside linebacker getting after the quarterback and doing his little thing over the quarterback. And then probably on the defensive side, Kawhi Leonard. I look at him, long arms, can play defensive back. He reminds me a lot of Richard Sherman and probably the old school Mel Blount. The guy's just tall, is very low demeanor.
Steelers.
Well, he's just very low demeanor. He's not outspoken. And then Odell Beckham, like I said, he's a guy that I think could he play in the NBA? I don't know. He's putting on the show right there.
Yeah, I tell you what, we might have to give him a 10-day.
You know what? Growing up, it was always fun though to watch guys that played different sports and to see how that sports transcended other things. You would always see basketball players. I remember in high school seeing Barry Sanders dunk. Believe it or not, as short as he is, but so athletic. Yeah, so it's always been fun to me to watch the athleticism of other athletes, especially when they get on the hardwood.
We can't let you go without a prediction. Who wins Sunday?
I'm a Falcons fan by heart because I grew up watching the old Falcons.
I hear
Deion
Sanders coming.
Too legit to quit.
Gosh.
However, though, Tom Brady, Coach Belichick, I played against those guys, man, and you give those guys 2 weeks to prepare for anybody. They're very tough to stop. So I'm going to go with the Patriots in a close one.
Great to have you with us.
Pleasure. Glad
Stop by
to be
anytime.
Here,
My man. Steelers in the
You
house.
can hang out the whole night if you want.
Yeah, man.
Talk NBA with us. Super Bowl
There you
MVP.
go. Put him on.
I forgot how physical he was. He's strong.
Best blocking wide receiver of all time, baby.
Post him up.
Yeah, I forgot.
CNN special.
I don't know how many cars he brought.
2:30 Eastern Time on Saturday on CNN. Hines Ward, the 2-time Super Bowl champion and former MVP, with us.
Yes, sir.